that do you want to unveil this news or do you want me to unveil this news for those who haven't heard it yet?
I unveiled this news on Ventline, and so I want you to do it now because I'd like to hear how you craft this. 5
Vikings have been added to the Pro Bowl roster. Kirk Cousins is the first one listed.
I did the same thing, and I said, you know what season?
When they first came out with the Pro Bowlers, I said, if he didn't deserve to be in, he's definitely an alternate.
Yep.
But you could have even made an argument Kirk Cousins deserved to be in.
I am not. On a scale of 1 to spitting out my coffee, I'm not spitting out my coffee. I'm not even close.
That's actually a really good scale for this.
Yeah, I did warn people when I announced this morning. I said, if you're driving, pull over.
Is it full?
If you're drinking coffee, I'm giving you 4 seconds to swallow and don't take another sip. And get the coffee down. Don't give me that look. Swallow your coffee. It's not dirty.
That's a drop.
No, there's no innuendo there.
That's a drop.
And I said,
in this matter.
And I said, everybody just calm down. I'm going to give you 4 seconds. And then I read this news. Swallow your coffee, you dirty-minded child, you.
You're not helping matters right now.
I'm just trying to separate what's the adult world and what's not.
It's too late, man. It's too late.
Everything's recorded now.
Okay. Second Pro Bowler, Viking, added today by the NFL. Everson Griffin, defensive end.
Deserves it.
I'm good with it. Had a really good bounce back season. Probably one of the 10 or 15 best defensive linemen in the league this year.
He deserves it.
CJ Ham at fullback.
Yep.
I thought he should have gotten in on the first time around, so obviously I have no problem with CJ Ham getting in as an alternate. Eric Kendricks, nobody would argue with Eric Kendricks.
Terrible snub.
Yeah, that was a ridiculous snub that he didn't get in the first place. How do you make it? And he's not the first to do this, but it hurts my brain every time this happens, which isn't hard to hurt my brain, but it hurts my brain every time this happens that a guy can be all pro, but not a Pro Bowler.
It's ridiculous.
That makes no sense.
It's ridiculous.
And makes me say you have to change the Pro Bowl voting.
In fact, I'll go through this quickly for the 4 players whose names who are, as we talked about, Pro Bowl replacements for Sunday's game, PFF rankings, okay? Kirk Cousins, PFF ranking, 84.3, 5th among quarterbacks, all right? Griffin, 77.6, 26th among defensive ends, all right? That's good?
Mm-hmm.
CJ Ham, 62, that's 5th among linebackers, or I'm sorry, among fullbacks. And then linebacker Eric Kendricks, 90.5, that was 1st. So far, the lowest we've gotten, Everson Griffin at 26th. Mm-hmm. Certainly not embarrassing.
You just stole my thunder a little bit because I had that same list up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And the final Pro Bowler of the 5 that was added for your Minnesota Vikings today, Xavier Rhodes.
Hello.
Now you know Declan is here. Xavier Rhodes made the Pro Bowl as an alternate for your Minnesota Vikings. Now, you heard Judd give out the rankings there by PFF.
I didn't give out this one.
Overall grades and ranks for these Pro Bowl replacements. I'll give them to you again in case you need a refresher. Cousins was 5th at the quarterback position. Griffin, 26th. Ham, 5th. Kendricks, 1st.
Yeah.
Xavier Rhodes at the cornerback position, according to PFF overall grades, is 125th.
Can you repeat that?
125th in the NFL. Oh, boy. And he will be one of the Pro Bowlers this Sunday in Miami. Are they playing it in Miami? I don't care. That's how little I care about the Pro Bowl.
4th consecutive year, Orlando, I guess. I just looked it up.
I know the NFL really wants to emphasize offense, but now we're doing it in the Pro Bowl too, just getting bad defensive players in to emphasize offensive more.
Is that what this is?
You might be onto something.
Must be.
That's the only thing that makes sense.
So he's replacing Richard Sherman. How many guys did they must have called and said, no, thanks, I'm not going?
Or do you think that's what happened here? Like 5 or 6 guys were called and said, hey, you can have Richard Sherman's spot. And they're like, no, thanks. I already had plans. Me and the family are going to be in Cabo.
Yeah,
that's the only thing I can figure is that's what happened, is that they called guys and they all said no until they got to Rhodes. And he's like, sure, I'll go, free trip. That's the only thing I can figure. But can we now make it official? Can we call her off? Can this now be it?
I've been saying this for years.
I have too, but now can we? But this is the worst thing I've ever seen.
I don't know why the Pro Bowl is a thing. I really don't. I don't. And I'm not one who's against All-Star games. I love the baseball All-Star game.
That doesn't count because I agree. The baseball All-Star game is the only All-Star game that should be played, though.
I don't even mind the NBA All-Star game.
I get rid of it.
It's a skills competition.
Hockey, get rid of it.
The NBA All-Star game, there's no defense played. It's not real
Get rid
basketball.
of it.
But those are the best athletes in the world running up and down the court and doing things that you don't see humans do. That's entertaining to me.
Mm-hmm.
The Pro Bowl is watered down football that I hesitate to even call football. And no disrespect to Xavier Rhodes. I'm about to give the same spiel that you gave on Morning Judd today, which, by the way, the last two Morning Judds, very dark. What is going on with the lighting? Is this an intentional thing?
It's mood.
Okay. You're setting the mood?
It's my mood. It's my new mood camera.
It's really
I just
dark.
got it.
It's been really dark.
Yeah, it's mood.
No disrespect to Xavier Rhodes.
It's like a steakhouse.
Seems like a good dude.
Yep.
As far as I know.
Yep.
Fine, upstanding citizen.
Yep.
Has had a great NFL career.
Yeah, you're not. Yes.
He was one of the best cornerbacks in this league for a handful of years. Not many people walking this planet can say that. Kudos to you, Xavier Rhodes, for everything you have accomplished in your fine NFL career.
Mm-hmm.
If there was ever a year that Xavier Rhodes should not be in the Pro Bowl, this is the year that Xavier Rhodes should not be in the Pro Bowl. And I didn't look at the other alternates who got in today, Judd.
Yep.
But I'd imagine he's not the only Xavier Rhodes, so to speak, who got the call today to go to what I just found out was Orlando to play watered-down football this Sunday.
This has to be the worst one, though. This has to be the most atrocious. He's
Jonathan,
125th.
Can you pull up some of the other alternates that were named today?
This is going to be the worst one.
You think so?
This is one of the worst all-star recognitions of all time in any sport. This is off the charts. We watched him play. The poor man can barely operate at cornerback. And he's going to a all-star game?
But here's the thing, Judd. Every year, now this is the first year I've had the opportunity to do it on these particular airwaves and outlets. And by the way, we're on 1500, scorenorth.com, and the Score North mobile app, which is totally, totally free. This is my first chance to voice this on this particular outlet of Score North. But I've been saying since I got in this game that the Pro Bowl is pointless and should not be played. And then Monday morning, early Monday afternoon, I get some kind of ratings report. And it turns out a lot of people are watching the freaking Pro Bowl. For whatever reason, a lot of you out there are watching the Pro Bowl.
Because they know that they can put anything on television and it will draw eyeballs. Unfortunately, in this case, somebody have some good taste to call it off. If I was commissioner of the sports world,
Xavier Rhodes comes across your desk.
Yes, I'm just like that. I line delete the Pro Bowl.
We don't need to play this.
I line delete the entire event. If I was commissioner of sports and the sports world, I would end the NHL, NBA, All-Star games, and the Pro Bowl immediately. I'd still play the baseball game. I sort of like the baseball game. It sort of reminds me of a simpler time when the All-Star game baseball meant something. A simpler time when young Judd watched Dave Parker throw out
that
Brian
you've ever said
Downing
anything more old man than it reminds me of a simpler time.
At the Kingdome in 1979 with Roy Smalley starting at shortstop for the American League for our Minnesota Twins. But if I was commissioner of sports for a day, I would cancel those 3 All-Star games post-haste.
Post-haste.
That would be it. They're done. So anyway, but yes, Xavier Rhodes is an all-star. Like, that's the way I've elected to try and frame this. Because the Pro Bowl, people are like, Pro Bowl, who cares? He's an all-star.
This is ultimately the question that I came to, Judd, though. This is ultimately the question that I came to. Because when people, like, throw hate my way via social media or however it might be, it's always baffling to me that, like, you care so much about how bad you think I am at my job that A, you felt the need to keep listening, then B, go out of your way to comment to me on social media about how bad you think I am at my job and how bad my show is. And I'm always like, dude, why didn't you just like turn the dial or press stop on the podcast that you were listening to? Like, why are you so upset at your perceived or my perceived lack of talent in your eyes that you went through all that trouble today? And today we are those people. Today we are those guys. I sat there this morning and went through this whole dialogue with myself, inner dialogue about why Xavier Rhodes is in the Pro Bowl and asking myself that question. Same conversation in a lot of ways that I just had with you, only it was me, myself, and I having this conversation. And then ultimately a voice butted into this conversation and was like, Dude, why do you care? Like, what does it matter to you that Xavier Rhodes is in the Pro Bowl? Good for Xavier Rhodes.
Oh, no. We are, make no mistake.
And if you want to watch the Pro Bowl,
don't do it. Don't do it. Don't
go ahead.
subject. No.
I don't care.
Here's the thing is, we are.
It's entertainment. Whatever you're entertained by.
In our job,
enjoy.
And Vikings fans as well as media, we are the gatekeepers of good taste. What you said is erroneous because you're right. If somebody hates Rami Malekov, they can turn the dial. They can find a different podcast. They can go somewhere else. But if you are a Vikings fan or you are paid to watch the Vikings, we need to watch the Vikings. Like we can't say
you don't have to watch the Pro Bowl though. I understand.
No.
I understand.
But the good taste is stopping this from happening. The good taste is stopping him from being in the Pro Bowl. This is the affront. The affront is not the game. It's the selection. It's the all-star selection
that only matters. I've said this before. The only thing that matters about the Pro Bowl is when they announce the Pro Bowl roster. And really, that should only matter to the guys who made it or did not make it.
Anyway, this is an affront to all athletics everywhere.
I ultimately came around to the conclusion that I don't care, and I don't know why I did, and I don't know why you do. God bless you, Xavier Rhodes. Go enjoy Orlando if you choose to accept this invitation.
Even more compelling case to cancel the game. That's all I keep saying.
Why do you care? Jonathan, do you care? Ultimately, I don't care.
Because All-Star games are a waste.
I got myself all worked up about it. Then I came to the conclusion that I shouldn't care, and now I don't.
Outside of baseball, All-Star games are a waste of all our time.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you.
And should be canceled.
All-Star games are just a waste.
Just cancel them.
Give me the skills competitions. I want to see these guys do cool things.
Send them home.
But it's a waste of your time. It's a waste of your time. It's not a waste of Xavier Rhodes' time if he chooses to go. It's not a waste of somebody's if somebody decides what they want to do with their entertainment hours.
Can you read me that PFF grade again and tell me how in any way, shape, or form you can justify this guy being an All-Star?
No, it's not justifying. It's just I don't care enough to justify or criticize it. I did at first, and then I realized I'm being stupid.
If they're not going to play the actual game that they played during the regular season, then I don't care. If they're not going to actually play defense, if they're not actually going to rush the quarterback, if they're not going to actually fully tackle, then I don't care.
Okay,
but
so
when they play the baseball All-Star game, they actually play baseball.
But in taking issue with it, which I participated in for the first 13 minutes of this, just to set you guys up for the old switcheroo. If you don't care, then just don't care. You by taking issue with it, you're caring. It's the same thing I tell trolls on Twitter who don't like me and what I do. By taking issue with what I do, you're caring. You're taking time and effort out of your day and using up mind power and energy
on Twitter though
to care.
I can ignore things and not care because my choices are so multiple. In this case, it's my job to care because nobody who's had as bad of season as he has should ever be rewarded in any way, shape, or form. So this is actually something I care.
This is just about what's right and wrong.
This is something that I care passionately about.
Football.
This is something I care passionately about because here's the problem. As a sports fan, this is his third selection. The first two were well earned. Sure. This one makes the entire process a complete joke.
The whole process has been a joke. This has been a joke. It's a joke of a football game.
Right,
the
but that's why
selection process is a joke.
But that's what I'm saying. It's my job to care deeply as to obliterate